What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is the legendary Founding Titan, and today I'm going to be going over with you a Paragon tank builder guide. Now this is not like this is not to give you the best performance in the sense of staying in lane or giving you the high damage with the tankiness. This is pure blood This is pure blood, full tank, not like putting any items where you do hybrid items. We're not really touching on that. We're going more in depth with like the most durable tank you can possibly have, while also being able to showcase how to counter Pacific ADC items, and explaining how armor and the ADC's main kit works comparatively to each other. So it would all make sense more as we go in more in depth with it. So just stay with me here. So we're going over the physical items, physical armor items, energy items, HP, sustain, and utility. Now, the first thing for building your tank, you have to figure out if your tank is more like the character itself. You have to look at it with their abilities. You have to look at it if they are more of a HP tank or if they're more of an armor tank. Uh, and what I mean by that is Sevrog is a great example of being an HP tank. The more health you have, the higher magical damage you have. So, this is still a guide to show you how to have maximum durability while also having maximum, what you would want to call it, like performance wise with the character. Having HP tanks and armor tanks are two different things. So Sevrog is an HP tank mostly. So does that mean you only build HP? No. You definitely don't want to build only HP. You don't want to build only armor, but you want to have a priority. He prioritizes health. So you want to have a lot of health items so you can get your siphon up there to do more damage with your health. Um, Now none of his other abilities actually do scale off of his health. But that one ability definitely makes it to where he does. Uh, you want to build him more towards the health side, and especially since he has no limits to how powerful he can get with how many souls he can have. So you having health on him is especially important because you can hit pretty gosh darn hard as Sevrog, and that's something you kind of want to do uh, with him being a health tank because of the fact that he doesn't have that many like stunning capabilities like Richter or Steel, for instance. He does have a huge knockback. That's with his ult and a root, but that's not doing much in the late game. Especially with all these blanks in the game right now. So yeah. So for Sevrog, you definitely want to prioritize more into the health aspect of a tank. So what does that look like? You might be asking. So for starters, let's go back to our builder guide. So Sevrog, we'll make a build specifically for him. So we'll do we'll just do showcase and we'll just do Sevrog slash HP tank. Okay, we'll just do that. Right. So stay with me here. So obviously the big one that you're gonna want to go for is more than likely gonna be this. Healing Nanomachines gives you a crap ton of health. It gives you health regen, not much. It's not gonna help you that much in a battle. But the passive is what really shines for him. Being able to really just sustain yourself while you rotate to help someone, with a gank or going to a objective. This is really good for Sevrog if he's playing the jungle, especially. But also pretty good for solo. And it's just really good for his kit because it gives him so much health. Um, This item also is a really good item with Boris, as Boris is also a HP tank where he has a lot of abilities that also scale off of health. So you see, he have his Q that scales off his health. He has his E that scales off his health. His R scales off his health. And even his last ability scales off of his health. So Boris is also considered a more HP tank. Uh, the next item you'd want to get is, of course, something for physical armor, as physical armor is very important. I would probably recommend there's two ways you could really build him. So you can build him for a little bit more durability, or you can have a little bit of utility on top of that. So when I look at Sevrog, I'm kind of looking at these two items. Maybe even this. If I'm having a huge ADC issue, I'd pick up this item. Um, but for now, we'll go with this item, right? Let's get that for starter. So you get, it has pretty high health, good armor, good passive. All right. We'll go over to grab a magical defense item. So we'll go over here, look around. You definitely want to get Shockwave Generator. I think it's a really good item as well. Gives him a good passive, gives him 600 more health. That will help him significantly. Already we have well over 1,000 health of this build. Just these two items alone give you, I think it's around 1,300, right? Something like that. Yeah, yeah, it's like 1,350 health. So pretty solid. And on top of that, you have this, which gives you 350. So what did I say, 1,350? This would give you basically 1,600 health altogether. So that's a pretty good start. Now, we definitely want to get more. We obviously want to get more cards. We only have 3. So the cards that we're going to want to look at, a lot of people go for Exemas Toy, but I do not like going for Exemas Toy because it makes it to where stacking on your Q is a lot harder. It's not that much harder, but it is harder regardless. And it's not that tanky. It's not as tanky as these items. This item has way more tankiness than this because of its passive. And you want to be a frontline tank. You want to be super tanky. That's what we're going for in this video. So we're going for a beefy Severug. Um, so you could. This kind of comes down to two preferences, or really, it depends on your match. So if you're having a huge ADC problem, which let's be honest, you're probably going to have a huge ADC problem, you want to get Guardian Helene. Guardian Helene gives you critical damage by 40%, decreases the damage from crit by 40%, and that will help you a lot in a fight. Gives you quite a bit of physical defense. Pretty solid build so far. We got good physical armor. Now you could even pick up another physical item, but strongly, I strongly suggest that you don't. Uh, a HP sub like an HP build, I think an HP build like Subrog or Boris, you definitely want to stay with only 2 physical items and 2 energy items for armor based. Why? Because you don't have that much that scales off of armor. You want higher health. That's what your goal is. You want higher health. And the main thing is to uh the carry items are very strong. All right, so stay with me here. You're going up against this, and you're going up against this. These are like meta items, and this. These are your 3 heavy tank killing opponents, and they basically there's no way of really countering it. It's you're gonna get shredded regardless, but you're gonna get even more shredded the more armor you have. Let me explain. So the reason why you're going to get shredded faster the more physical armor you have with a HP tank is because of the fact that these items all like these two items specifically have physical defense nullifications, and this scales off of how many crit hits they have. So if they have a high crit chance and they hit a critical hit on you, it lasts for 3 seconds, and it gives them a 25% nullifications of defense. And this already gives 35%. Put these together. That is 60% nullifications. And not to mention, you also have high attack speed while also having a 6% thing to target your health. So it's you really can't, like I said, you really can't counter build this. There's no way of really counter building it. But the way you make it more effective is by going for more health because it's more about just killing the opponent as fast as you can with as much durability as possible. If your other ADCs or damagers can't kill them, then you're kind of out of luck. Or if you can't kill them, you're also out of luck. So don't go for another physical defense item when you're going for a more health-based tank. Uh, really prioritize just health. So we have our two physical defense items. We can still pick up another energy armor item, however. So you want something that can tank. Uh, you want something that can get you out of stuns faster. So that comes down to either Star Grace or Blacksmith Scissors. Personally, I think, well, honestly, I feel like I like Blacksmith Scissors more. It gives you a little bit more health. It gives you 2% recovery of your max health by 10, like for 5 seconds. So entirely you get 10% of your health uh over the course of 5 seconds. When the hero is hit by a hard crowd control effect, and it can come back every 30 seconds. So either one of these options work. I do prefer this item though. So you have pretty decent magic defense. You have pretty decent physical defense. So now we go for our final health item. So you want to go for one more health item. Now, which health item that might be remains to be seen. So let's go look around. Now you could pick up this. You, I mean, this is kind of more of a utility thing. Uh, you could even pick up this. Actually, yeah, yeah, you could pick up this. I did say stay with two physical or two magical items, but uh, more about physical defense because physical defense is a lot easier to penetrate than magic defense, as magic defense is really strong. But this, I'm not even really getting this because of the. I'm not even getting this because of the magic defense. I'm getting it because of the passive. When you reach 30% or lower, removes the hero's debuffs and damage taken by 40% and crowd control immune for 3 seconds. Now, this item is also physical power, which Sevrog doesn't really have, um, apart from his basics. But that passive really makes you a lot stronger. Now, if you want a item that fits Sevrog a bit better, this item might be the way to go. This item, I mean, it does have the physical defense, but that's not the reason you're getting it anyway. You're getting it for the health, the mana, the cooldown, and the passive. So these are the items that you would want to get for a health tank. So if you are playing Boris, definitely pick up that. If you're playing Sevrog, pick up this. Um, this is kind of the way that I would build a tank right here. So let's look at a armor tank though, shall we? So, you know, also just a quick just I just want to show you guys something real quick. So, just so it doesn't seem like I'm making it up. So, the armor thing that I've been mentioning, the nullifications is actually a lot more than you may think. Uh, I mean, 60% is pretty high, but you got to understand how high this really is. So, if I go over here, we'll just pull this bad boy over. So, got our fancy dancy calculator, all right? So, I think it's either Boris or Rampage that has 129 physical armor. I want to say it's Rampage. So, regardless, they have 129 physical armor on their base stats when they reach level 18. Okay? So, you put this with this item, which that gives you 57. Now, these are the highest items in the game for physical armor. So, you do this, you add 70 to it because of that, then you add another 70. So let's do that. Add another 70. And then you want to add 55 uh, plus 55. Okay. Then you want to add plus 60. All right. So stay with me here. And then on top of that, add another 70. Okay. So you now have 511 physical armor. Sounds like a lot, right? Well, guess what? These two items alone, because physical damage is way higher than energy damage. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. And this is what happens when these two items alone stack against you. So you just times it by 60. If I can find the percent side, there we go. 306.6. Now, that's how much it's taking away. So 511 minus 306.6. That's how much armor you would have left. And you want to know how many items that counters? It counters this, 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 this. You're left with that. Because 129, let me just see real quick. Yeah. So 129 is Rampage's base stats. It's Rampage's base stats, and with 70. So let me just show you. It's actually less. It's a little bit, actually. You do have a little bit more armor, so you do have a slightly more armor than what I said, but still, it does basically counter 5 items. Now, that doesn't include the passives, but all that physical armor means jack shit. Which is why I tell you to not go for a lot of physical armor, because it is very easily countered by 2 fucking items. Which is a big problem with this game, but we're trying to work our way around it as our tanks, as we are tank main players. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, let's go into the armor tank. So this is kind of more into Rampage's territory, Steel's territory. Actually, I forget about Rampage. I think, is he? No, I mean technically he does more damage than that, but no. In general, though, he is more prioritizing in armor because of the fact that he already has a shit ton of health with his ult. So yeah. So let me just there we go. Armor tanks. So this kind of more prioritizes into, like I said, Rampage, Steel. Steel gets a shield based off of how much physical armor he has. Uh, Terra gets a. I think she gets something from it. Oh yeah, her counterattack gives her more damage from that based on her uh, physical armor. And now I'm actually not sure about something, so let me just check. I want to see something with let's see, well, how can I do this actually? Well, no, yeah, that would work because I want to see how much damage I actually do with the shield. I'll just do something real quick. So I'll hit this guy, this thing. So 240 is what I'll do. If I add a physical armor item, I will now do. What was it before? 240? That was 250, right? Let me just make sure. Because last time was 250. Okay, I think it's actually more. No, it's a shield. It's a shield. So let me go. Uh, okay, that'd be a better example. So let me do the shield bash. So 228. Okay, it's kind of hard to see for the shield because the shield doesn't actually have a number on it. I don't think. Does it? No, it doesn't. Okay, yeah. So this will be easier to see. I don't even remember what the hell I said. So it's that was 248 though. Without it, it is 228, and with it, it was 248. Correct? Okay, so it increases the damage by. Now, what I'm testing here is I don't know if energy armor scales with it. So I'm gonna get the highest energy armor with it. We'll just go with Mad Black Hole. So 248. Okay, so yeah, it is only physical. I thought so, but I just want to make sure. Okay, so for those armor tanks, though, you definitely want to prioritize more to physical armor because of that. So for Steel's case, you want basically. I think for Steel, you want to have Swamp Cloak because you do have a lot of stuns. Why not annoy the enemy even more by having a slow? So you get one item there. I'd probably get Artificial Gravity because Artificial Gravity is really good. Now this could also be placed on Sevrog too. Um, but yeah, this is just showcasing an armor tank though. So I just was prioritizing more into the passives and the health for Sevrog though. So, but you can use this on Sevrog as well, or any tank for that matter. Um, so let's get right into it with another physical item. So we gotta go for, if you do have any healing problems, because you are playing a support or solo lane, so you might be fighting a Shinobi solo, you might be fighting a Narbash support. You might need this item. If not, go for high end armor because it gives you a crap ton of. It gives a good passive basically. It gives you a really good passive. Actually, go for this instead because it gives you more physical armor and it gives you cooldown. Cooldown is like one of your best friends as a tank, so go for more cooldown as well. And crit is going to be a bigger issue against you once they start building it, because they are probably going to build it, because crit is very strong in this game. Now, this isn't a support build. This is mainly just to showcase what a armor tank looks like. Because you won't be able to really afford this too easily as a support, but you might try. You can try. Shockwave generator, always good to have. You might want to pick up. Honestly, depending on how bad the situation is for Magic, either this or this. Uh, I'll say this though, just because you already have. Well, uh, no. Go for this. There you go. Yeah. Okay. I forgot about tenacity. You definitely want something for tenacity almost every time when you're playing as a tank. So definitely grab that. So you basically have enough armor now. You can kind of go for what the hell you want. So if you want more utility, I'd probably just go with yeah, that. Either that or a either that or an item that gives you a like a team buff, like this, or a debuff on the enemy, like something like this. I think for now we'll go with we have max cooldown, we have tenacity. Uh, I think what we'll go with. Mm, looking for something that gives utility. You could even give that, but that yeah, that could work honestly. Like I said, this isn't like a support. This is what a support build, but I'm just showcasing an armor tank build, and that's what I would basically go for. This like a utility item of some kind. Maybe not this. Maybe like another slow, like maybe that. But you know, something like this though is what an armor tank would look like. So let's get back to the building tank guide. So this is gonna show you. I basically gave an example of what you want to go for this, for the HP tanks and the armor tanks. Now I'm going to be showcasing every single item in the game that you should be looking at as a tank. Not like I said before, not a tank that builds damage, just a pure blood tank that can tank as much damage as possible, and that's what we're going for. So we're going for big chunkiest tanks, not items like this or items like this. We're not going for items like these because these are more of like, I mean, they're not bad. They're definitely like the meta picks to go for certain tanks for sure. But we're going for just the heavy tanks. So that's what we're doing. Um, so as far as everything goes, this item is one of your best friends as a tank anyway. This, if you don't know, gives you the highest magical defense in the game, giving you 62 because the passive procs on yourself, and you get 62 magical defense from it, which the highest magical defense in the game besides this is 50. So that's definitely worth picking up. Um, Gives you cooldown, 300 health, 25 physical defense, plus the 32 for its passive. That gives you 57 physical defense. So pretty solid defense. Overall, this item gives you 57 plus 62, which is 59, and then basically 119, something like that. 119 uh, armor in total, right? Is that right? 52. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, sounds about right. Okay, yeah, but you get basically 119 something armor with this one card alone with physical and magical defense. Note that the 32 only procs once you're level 18, so pick this item last. This is a late game item. Unless you're support, then you can pick it up early. But until then, that's a early game or sorry, late game item if you're playing a soul laner. So we'll put this in. Actually, we'll put this in magical because that's kind of more of a magic-based item. Actually, we'll put in sustain or utility because it's kind of a mix of both anyway. Um, right. So for your other physical defense items, don't look at this. You want to definitely look at this. Anything that has a percentage like this is definitely worth checking out. Um, this is a great utility item for your physical defense. Not the strongest item in terms of passives, but honestly, actually, let me change that. It's more of a utility item. I think it's more of a utility item than a physical item, as it does give you 70 physical defense, but I consider it more of a utility because of its passive. Uh, it's more about countering the ADCs more than actually having it for physical defense against like another soul laner, basically. And then Swamp Cloak. Swamp Cloak is definitely a utility item for the supports or for a soul laner. If they do need it, that's more of a utility item than a tank item. This is another tank item for physical armor. This gives you 55 physical defense, 350 health, 2 health regen, and receive damage from enemy basic attacks and physical skills by 20%. So that decreases quite a lot of damage. Uh, Percentages like these are very few for the physical defense department, and that's why, well, we're already somewhat far through it, and that's why these are the only ones up here right now. Uh, this item also considered utility. Utility for the attack speed. So this does give you 95 armor in total for, physical and magic defense. So it's pretty freaking good. I do pick this up every once in a while. Pretty good for countering those uh, ADCs as well. But it's definitely more into the counteration of ADCs, especially with that passive. These two hand to hand, Ice Gloves and Berserker's Helm, those two hand to hand are really good combined, but it's really expensive to do so. Sweet Life, another utility item. It's a thing that where someone dies, or if you assisted with someone dying of the enemy, you get health and mana from it. So that's very rare, not really rare, but it's not going to happen all the time. So it's more of just a sustaining item. And you do have high HP slash mana pool with this, with 600 health and 300 mana, 10% cooldown. Not bad, not a bad item. Definitely more for a. You only want to pick this item up if you're winning. If you're losing, don't ever pick this item up because when you're losing, you're not going to be able to kill anyone, and you're not going to be able to tank anyone because, well, it's not that tanky. So don't use that for a tank. Uh, like if you're losing, don't use that. Zing's Claw Barrier. Uh, I definitely think this is more of a, definitely more of a, yeah, again, a utility item. It reflects damage more for the anti-heal than anything else. That's about I can say about that item specifically. Artificial Gravity. This is another physical item. Three of the best up here. This thing just has so many good passives on it. Every time the enemy hero, or anytime you receive damage from an enemy, increases the hero's physical defense and magic defense by 2. The effect can stack up to 10 times. The stack is reset at the max. Additionally, increase the hero's physical defense by 20% after that, and magic defense increased by 20% as well, but decreases nearby enemies by 40. Physical power by 40%. It attacks me by 40% for 5 seconds. So pretty much a mouthful. So once it stacks 10 times, uh, it sends out this big blast. The only problem with that, it's 10 fucking times. And why is that a problem, you might ask? This item. This item does 6% of the target's current health, which, if you do the math, let's grab the math again. I don't have. Well, I mean, I don't even need to calculate it anyway. I can just tell you. But I did want to show you, but I don't have the calculator out now. But it is 16 shots. It is 16 shots for this thing to kill you. 16 fucking shots with one item. Keep in mind that people like Drongo have a third attack that also does 6% true damage. So Drongo mixed with this item at his third basic attack can do 12% of your fucking health. So for you to actually get this procced, you would almost be fucking dead if it's a carry, because this is a item that is specifically meant to counter a carry. It counters their attack speed and physical power. Nothing else spells out counteration to a carry than that. But you're almost dead by the time that procs, unless the enemy team all hit you. Like if their solo laner hits you and all that shit. And then in that case, Yeah, this will proc, but against an AC and a one-on-one, this ain't procking for you. This You're gonna be dead before that thing fucking procs. So yeah, because this item alone, that's not counting with any other items. This item alone can kill you in 16 shots. So keep that in mind. That's why this item is fucking bullshit. But anyway, let's look at the magic defense items. So the magic defense items, definitely Star Grace is one. It must be looked at. You gotta pick it up for the tenacity. Very good. We already discussed this item. Mana Black Hole, definitely the best magic defense item you can pick up. Um, Very solid pick. Very strong. Has 50 magical defense, 300 health. Basically the same as a lot of items, 300 health. 10% cooldown. And the passive decreases the enemy's received damage from magic by 20%. Very fucking good. Blacksmith Scissors, another great item. Uh, I already kind of discussed that earlier as well, so I'm not going to go over it again. Treya's Band, uh, 40 magic defense, 400 health, 2 health regen, and 10% cooldown. I'm going to keep this one. I, this is kind of tough because this kind of would be considered more of a utility based item, but it does give you more health. It gives you more health, gives you health regen, gives you cooldown, and all health recovery and shield effects is increased by 40% more. And a lot of tanks like Steel, or I guess you could say Muriel, um, but like tanks like these, I think doesn't Terra? I think Terra has like some shield effects too. I forget though. Yeah, her ult has a shield on it. You could use that too. So yeah, characters like those, this item is really good for. So I think this is more based for an energy item than a sustaining item. Although it would be also classified as that, but it's just as good as this item. It just doesn't have tenacity. Instead, it has recovery. So it's I just leave it there. All right, I just leave it there. It has 100 more health as well, so it's really fucking good. Shockwave Generator. You're not getting this item for energy item or energy armor. You're getting it for that 600 health and that passive. That's what you're getting that item for. It's really good at its job. Not really that good for energy damage, though. We're dealing with energy damage. Penament of Confinement. Utility item. Slows the enemy down on basic attacks. Not much else to really say about it. Berserker's Helm, I kind of already discussed earlier. This is more of a utility item. I already placed it there, as you see. Fruit of Greed. Um, Definitely not a tank item. Uh, hardly increase the, hardly even a utility item. It does have high HP. Uh, Increase the hero's magic penetration by 12 and magic defense by 12 for every nearby enemy hero. So if the entire enemy team is there, which it does happen quite frequently, so 12 times 5, that's like 60? Oh my god, that's actually really fucking high. 90 magic defense is what this thing actually goes. Okay. Uh okay. That that is actually a lot better than I thought it was. I might actually start picking this item up. Holy shit. Okay. Uh I don't know where that goes. You know what? That passive is really good because a lot of times for objectives, for a team fight, it happens a lot in this game. Like where people just bulldoze you. That proc is definitely stacking all the way most of the time. I think this is a great energy defense item, actually. Yeah, for huge team fights, definitely picking that up. Blue Heart utility. It really just offers a shield and it blocks a single skill attack. It gives you magic power 20%, but you're not gonna be able to utilize that as a tank. So yeah, I might even I you know what? Mm, I might even take this off. No, this does not qualify as a tank item for me. I'm sorry. That's more of a mage item, really, because you're not utilizing that at all. Like, when are you not like if you're a tank? When are you gonna have that shield up? It's like never. You never have that fucking shield up ever. That shield's gonna be down all the time. Uh, Holy water, talked about it earlier. Very strong. Has a great passive. Uh, that's mainly the reason you pick it up for an edge defense item. Is that fucking passive is nuts. So yeah, definitely an edge defense. So let's look at health items now. So health items. So this is more of a support, not a tank. This is jungle item. No, no, no. Talked about that. This is a high health item. This is kind of utility. Gives you a shield equal to 20% of your health. This can be good for certain tanks for sure. Um, More of a hybrid item. Hybrid item. Talk about that. Hybrid item. Mage. Shit. No. Talk about all three of these. Talk about that. Health nanomachines, obviously health sustain. This could be a utility item for some characters. And that's about it, actually. Um, these are all the items you want to look at. I know there's so little physical items, but again, when you're fighting against these fucking carry items, there's not much else I could tell you other than use these three items. And even these three won't help you that much. Um, so yeah, because like I said, this thing just counters you so hard. This thing has 6%. I mean, what do you do to that? It's 16 shots, you're dead from this one item alone. And if they have a fast attack speed, which, by the way, a ranger can have 2.7 attack speed at highest, which is very easy achieved because of either wind spirit or their base. Their they can a lot of the characters like Sparrow and Yin can increase their attack speed like with the ability. Twin Blast naturally has more attack speed than everyone in the game. Uh, yeah, so they can reach a thing of 2.7 attack speed, which is basically nearly 3 shots in a second. So, with that being said, we'll just say 2.5. So, in 2 seconds, they fired 5 times. So, meaning in 4 seconds, that's 10%. Or, sorry, in 4 seconds, uh, that is. Oh god, I fucking lost track. Uh, let's see. You fire 2.5 shots a second. 2 shots, that's 5 seconds, or 5 shots. And 4 seconds, that's 10 shots. 10 shots, and then 6 seconds. So essentially, you will die within 5 to 6 fucking seconds. Yeah, literally 5 to 6 seconds, and you're dead from this one item alone. Uh, so the best thing I could tell you is that as a tank, if you see that item picked up, which they will have it regardless, uh, there's not much you can really do to counter it. I'm sorry, but the items in the game, there's not much you can do against it. The best thing you can do is look for shield items. Shield items are the best thing you can really do. Actually, scratch that. Shield items are the only thing you can do to counter it. Um, that's all I can really tell you. And even shield items won't save you for long. So I can't. I got nothing else for you for that. So I can't really. I'm sorry about that. It's just the game's really fucking unbalanced because of this one item. I mean, the thing that pisses me off, this one item is 6% of someone's health. Meanwhile, a mage, which has slow as fuck attacks, this item right here does damage equal to 1.7 of someone's health. 1.7 of someone's health. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, those numbers should be reversed. Like, merchants' numbers should be on here. Like, this should be 6% of someone's fucking health. And this should be 1.7 of someone else's health. Because mage's damage is far less frequent than a carry. Now, I don't want it to be 6% on a mage either, but I'm just saying, like, those numbers don't add up. Like, why is it that mages have a 1.7% max health item, meanwhile, and they throw abilities that have cooldowns on them? Meanwhile, a character that can shoot, like, 5 shots in 2 seconds has a thing that does 6% of someone's health. A shot. What the fuck? It does, like, sorry to tell you, but there is no way you can. The only way, like I said, the only way that you can survive longer against them is with against this item. You pick up this karma here. You pick up that, and you might need to pick up this if your damagers aren't nearby. But just to buy time. Uh, uh, this item, which actually doesn't help because it also goes through they were taken, I believe. If it doesn't, it doesn't even matter because, I mean, this is 16 shots. This is 16 shots by itself. That's not with a fucking build. That's not with a build. That is 16 shots. This item alone. So how do you counter? And also, I didn't even talk about, like, I did talk about this item, but they also do more damage. They do 15% bonus damage if you have 1400 more health, which is unavoidable as a tank. A tank will, regardless, have 1400 more health. So that 50% is basically a given to those carries. So, yeah, literally a tank cannot exist with those two items. Uh, which is why I tell you to only go for these three because the only thing that matters is percentages, and even those are struggling to keep you alive. So that's all I got for you. I'm sorry to tell you. And if you, like I said, percentages, shields are your only friends against a carry with this item. That's all I can tell you. Um, so if you want to try and make a build through that, let me tell you, as a tank man myself, that is the only way that I have figured out how to deal with a carry. Utility items like Berserker's Helm and Ice Spear Gloves, you could slow them down from doing the damage faster. That's the thing you could do. You can do the shields. You can do these percentage items. But outside of that, I have nothing else for you guys. You're on your own against those carries because they're so fucking strong. And there's not much I can really do other than what I told you already. Just how it is until they fucking fix this game, which will probably be never. So, yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. I hope my tank building guide did help you though. Like I said, these are items, these are builds that I like. I have a lot of fun with. I have a lot of experience with. I've played a lot with. They're not the best builds for a tank. Like they're not gonna be. You're not gonna be like able to 1v5 people with these builds. But you know, uh, you're gonna be tanking. That's what my video was all about, is showing you how to tank a fuck ton of damage, and that's I feel like I've done that. Like I said though, the ADCs, not much you could do against them. Once they get full build, they get those three items I showed you earlier. The this item, and the chainsaw. Once they get those three items online, there's not much you can do to counter it. There's actually nothing you can do to counter it, really. Just shields. Which is why Muriel is such a good support, because she's the one character that allows you to survive against something like that. Which they also gave a shield shredder to them as well. So if they have that item, you're shut out of luck, bud. I mean, literally, like if you see a carry that has, I'll just make a build real quick. Uh, mm, if you see a carry that has a build like this, you're shit out of luck, bud. You're shit out of luck because there's nothing you can do against it. Because then they'll be able to counter literally everything you can throw at them. Oh, shields? Fuck you. Oh, health or armor? Fuck you. Well, really health too, but still fuck you. Health, especially fuck you with the health here. Nullifications, even more nullifications. Fuck you again. Critical attacks. Fuck you again. And then this item on top of that, fuck you again. Hell yeah, son. And with these three items, it's 100% crit. They have 100% crit if they get three attacks on you with this item. So, let me tell you, son, there's nothing you can do against it. You're fucked. So, I mean, granted, they don't have any sustain with this build, but, I mean, they're shredding your dick off, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys today. But like I said, I hope my build helped you, and you can understand my frustration with the ADCs. But I'm helping you guys as much as I can. Helping the two tank guys that play this game, which is just me and my friend pretty much, and maybe some other individual out there plays tank. I don't know where, but brother, if you're out there, I'm helping you out here as best as I can. And yep, that's all I got for you today. This is Legendary Five Titan signing off. Peace.